Most people know La Bamba as a song. Some know it as a movie. But very few understand the real story behind it, because La Bamba isn't just about music. It's about identity. It's about family. It's about a kid from a forgotten neighborhood who broke barriers no one thought could be broken and paid for it with his life. Before the fame, before the charts, before the movie, there was a teenage boy trying to escape poverty, violence, and expectations placed on him before he even knew who he was. Health Wealth Diary presents the real story from the film La Bamba. Ritchie Valens was born on May 13, 1941, in Pacoima, California. Pacoima in the 1940s and 50s wasn't glamorous. It was a working-class neighborhood dominated by Mexican-American families, factory jobs, and generational poverty. Violence wasn't rare, it was normal. Ritchie's father, Joseph Stephen Valenzuela, was a laborer and musician who filled the house with Mexican folk songs, mariachi, and guitar music. Steve lived with the family until his death when Ritchie was just 10 years old. His mother, Connie, who separated from Steve years earlier, returned to the family home following Steve's death, bringing with her Ritchie's older half-brother Bob and 3 younger half-siblings. The household became tense, unstable, and emotionally volatile. Music became Ritchie's refuge. While other kids were playing outside, Ritchie stayed inside with a guitar, teaching himself chords, rhythms, melodies, not from lessons, but from instinct. Music wasn't a dream, it was an exit. Lou Diamond Phillips was virtually unknown when he was cast as Ritchie Valens. The risk paid off. Phillips didn't simply play Ritchie. He embodied youth, vulnerability, and quiet determination. His performance captured the innocence of a teenager suddenly thrust into fame, while still carrying the weight of family and cultural expectation. One of the most powerful parts of La Bamba is the relationship between Ritchie and his older half-brother Bob, played by Esai Morales. Esai's portrayal of Bob was raw, volatile, and unforgettable. The character is often remembered as the film's antagonist, but that label oversimplifies the real man. The real Bob Morales was a former Marine who returned from service deeply traumatized. Alcohol became a coping mechanism, and anger became armor. Bob loved Ritchie, but he also resented him. Ritchie represented escape. Bob represented being stuck. As Ritchie's career took off, Bob felt abandoned, replaced, and emasculated. Every success Ritchie had was a reminder of what Bob never got. Bob later admitted that his behavior haunted him for the rest of his life. The movie dramatized the violence, but the emotional truth was real. By his early teens, Ritchie was already different. He played guitar left-handed, wrote songs instinctively, and absorbed everything: rock and roll, R&B, doo-wop, and Mexican folk music. At San Fernando High School, teachers and students knew his name. He wasn't trained, he was gifted. But the industry didn't care about talent alone. In the 1950s, rock music was dominated by white artists. Latino musicians were pushed to the margins, expected to stay invisible or imitate others. Ritchie didn't fit the mold. In May of 1958, Bob Keane, the owner of the small Hollywood label Del-Fi Records, received a tip that would change music history. A student from San Fernando High School told Keane about a young performer from nearby Pacoima named Richard Valenzuela. Around school, kids had already given him a nickname, the Little Richard of San Fernando. That comparison alone was enough to spark Keane's interest. Curious, Keane went to see Ritchie perform at a Saturday morning matinee inside a San Fernando movie theater. What he saw left an impression. The kid didn't just sing, he commanded the room. Keane invited Ritchie to audition at his home in the Silver Lake area of Los Angeles, where he had built a small recording studio in his basement. On May 14, 1958, Richard Valenzuela signed with Del-Fi Records. Keane suggested he go by Ritchie, explaining later that there were already too many Richards in the business, and he wanted something that stood out. He also encouraged shortening Valenzuela to Valens, believing the name would travel farther without immediately signaling ethnicity. Just like in the movie, Ritchie was not happy with changing his last name, but he knew signing that contract would change his life forever. Joe Pantoliano's portrayal of Bob Keane is shown as supportive but paternalistic, a man who saw Ritchie's talent yet still viewed him through the lens of what the industry would accept. In real life, Bob Keane was instrumental in launching Ritchie's career. He wasn't malicious, he was pragmatic, but his actions highlight how the industry forced artists of color to conform before they could succeed. Ritchie Valens was now ready for the studio. Backed by a professional band, he recorded the song "Come On, Let's Go." The record was pressed and released within days. It was an immediate success. Ritchie followed it with "Donna," written for his real-life girlfriend, backed with a little song called "La Bamba" on the B-side. The record exploded in popularity, selling more than 1 million copies and earning gold disc certification from the Recording Industry Association of America. But it wasn't Donna that made Ritchie a legend, it was La Bamba. When Ritchie recorded La Bamba in 1958, there were no expectations. In fact, it wasn't even intended to be the lead song. It was placed on the B-side, almost as an afterthought. But radio DJs flipped the record, and history followed. The song became the first Spanish-language rock song to break into the American pop charts, forcing the industry to confront a reality it had long avoided. Spanish-speaking culture wasn't foreign to America. It was American. For Mexican-American listeners, the moment was seismic. Here was a teenager who didn't translate his culture to be accepted. He amplified it. He brought the language, rhythm, and identity of his community into the mainstream without apology. The song's success reshaped what was possible. Decades later, La Bamba would be revived by Los Lobos for the film's soundtrack, pushing the song to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, surpassing even Valens' original chart performance. Before the fame, before the touring, and before the hit song, there was a girl, and Donna was her name. Donna Ludwig was Ritchie's high school girlfriend, a blonde, white classmate from a different world, at a time when those differences mattered more than feelings ever could. Their relationship was brief, but it was intense. Ritchie was still a kid, still figuring out who he was. Donna was the sweet girl next door. She represented something normal, a life untouched by contracts and record deals. But reality closed in quickly. Donna's father strongly opposed the relationship, largely because Ritchie was Mexican-American. In the 1950s, interracial relationships weren't just frowned upon, they were actively policed by families and communities. As Ritchie's career accelerated, the distance grew, not just physically, but emotionally. Touring kept him away. Fame demanded his time. And Donna remained behind, living a life that could no longer move at the same speed. It was during this separation that Ritchie wrote Donna. In real life, the song became a hit, but it also became a permanent freeze frame of a relationship that never got to grow up. Donna Ludwig would go on to live a private life, largely stepping away from the spotlight, even as her name continued to be sung on radios around the world. Ritchie Valens was one of 5 featured acts on the Winter Dance Party Tour, joining Buddy Holly, J.P. the Big Bopper Richardson, and Dion and the Belmonts. The tour kicked off in January 1959 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But the Midwest was locked in brutal winter conditions, with temperatures dropping far below zero. The tour buses were unheated, equipment froze, and musicians got sick. After a late-night performance on February 2, 1959, which ended just before midnight, Buddy Holly made a decision. To escape another punishing overnight bus ride, he chartered a small plane to carry himself and 2 others to the next stop. Ritchie, who was down with a severe flu, ended up on that plane after winning a coin toss. Later, it would be said that Ritchie remarked, That's the first time I ever won anything in my life. At 12:55 a.m. on February 3, 1959, a four-seat Beechcraft Bonanza lifted off into the darkness, bound for Fargo, North Dakota. Minutes later, it crashed into an Iowa cornfield. The pilot, Roger Peterson, was not certified to fly in bad weather conditions. Disoriented in the storm, he lost control of the aircraft shortly after takeoff. There were no survivors. Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, pilot Roger Peterson, and Ritchie Valens. All four were killed instantly upon impact. At just 17 years old, Ritchie Valens became the youngest victim of a crash that would forever be remembered as the day the music died. The ending of La Bamba is the kind of moment that can make the hardest gangster cry like a child. As Santo and Johnny's haunting instrumental Sleepwalk drifts through the room, the world seems to stop. There's no build-up, no warning, just the weight of loss, crashing down all at once. Ritchie's mother, Connie, collapses to her knees, overwhelmed by grief. His brother Bob completely loses control, his rage dissolving into pure devastation as he screams his brother's name, Ritchie! It's raw, it's unforgettable, and it's one of the most powerful endings in music biopic history. Classic. In real life, Bob was not present when Connie first heard the news. However, his reaction when he did learn of Ritchie's death was life-altering. Bob carried deep guilt for the rest of his life. He later admitted that his anger toward Ritchie and his inability to express love properly haunted him. Bob's alcohol abuse worsened after the plane crash. He once said that Ritchie's death destroyed him, not just because he lost his brother, but because there was no chance to make things right. Bob Morales passed away on September 15, 2018. He was 81 years old. For movie director Luis Valdez, La Bamba wasn't just a movie, it was personal. Born in Delano, California in 1940, Valdez grew up the son of migrant farm workers, moving from field to field and learning early what it meant to be Chicano in America. When Valdez began researching Ritchie Valens, he saw more than a rock and roll tragedy. He saw himself. Ritchie Valens and Luis Valdez were nearly the same age, grew up in the same era, and faced the same pressure to assimilate. After speaking with Bob and the Valenzuela family, Valdez finished the script in less than 3 months. Hollywood was skeptical. A Latino-led film, Spanish-language music, and an unknown cast didn't fit the studio formula. La Bamba was made under a risky negative pickup deal, forcing it to succeed on its own. Valdez insisted on authenticity, casting Lou Diamond Phillips, embracing Spanish dialogue, and portraying Chicano family life without stereotypes. Released on July 24, 1987, La Bamba exceeded every expectation. Hollywood underestimated it. The Chicano community did not. La Bamba grossed over $54 million at the U.S. box office. More than a hit movie, La Bamba became a cultural milestone, honoring Ritchie Valens not just as a fallen star, but as a symbol of Chicano pride and proof that these stories belonged in American cinema. In less than a year, Ritchie Valens changed the direction of rock music forever. He opened doors for Latino artists who had never been allowed into the mainstream, and he proved that Chicano culture didn't follow trends. It led them. Without Richard Steven Valenzuela, the sound and shape of music history would look completely different. Thank you for watching. Ritchie Valens died before albums, before artistic evolution, before the world truly understood what he was capable of becoming. And that leaves history with a question it can never answer. If Ritchie Valens had lived, would rock music even sound the same today? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like and subscribe for more cool videos from the Health Wealth Diary.